Hello friends, Tal here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Guardian Druid on the Legion Alpha. I'm going to preface this by saying I've never been a huge fan of the Bear Druid personally. I feel that a lot of their mechanics are a little outdated, and I've just never enjoyed their playstyle, personally speaking. But today I'm going to go ahead and take a look, first impressions on it. I haven't played it. I'm going to do the artifact quest, give you my thoughts on it as far as tanking goes. I'm a main tank in a raiding guild. We do mythic raids, so kind of have a little bit of a tanking experience, and that's what I really focus my videos on. So the first thing that I want to go ahead and take a look at is change to the mastery for the Guardian Druid. Blizzard has said that they don't like the way that the Guardian is currently playing, where it feels like a lot of it is dodging and being agile, and that's not really what a bear should be about. So the mastery is being changed to Nature's Guardian. It increases your maximum health and healing received by 30%, and of course, as all the tank masters do, it increases your attack power as well. So what they're basically going for here is a big meat shield. And a lot of their abilities are basically percentage reductions so that they're not taking as much damage. It seems like they have kind of an answer to anything that could possibly happen. As far as them being fun to play or not, I'm not sure. I'll be figuring that out with you. But as far as having the tools to deal with any raid situation, I think that they're absolutely fine. So it's very interesting. So the first thing I'm going to go ahead and take a look at is their abilities, not including talents. So first thing is Bark Skin. It's like their mini cooldown. It's going to be actually. Let me go ahead. I know that there's a talent in here that kind of messes with everything. Okay, let's go ahead and just put Earth Warden. Okay, so Bark Skin. Baseline is on a 1.5-minute cooldown. It reduces damage taken by 20% for 12 seconds. It's going to be usable while you're stunned, frozen, incapacitated, all kinds of different things. So it's like your shorter cooldown. It does have a 1.5-minute cooldown though, and that is reduced by a talent. I'll be showing you later. Growl is still here. That's your taunt, bear form. Still increasing your armor, your stamina. Make sure you're not getting hit by crushing blows. All that's still there. You still have healing touch. You still have access to cat form, although you don't actually get any. I'm pretty sure you don't get any actual cat abilities unless you're choosing the affinity for them. And then you have incapacitating roar. It's 30-second cooldown. It's going to do an incapacitate for all enemies within 30 yards. Of course, incapacitates are not really the best because they kind of break in 1 second, so it's like a quick interrupt, but I mean, stuns are always better in my opinion. You still have access to entangling roots, and you have another new active mitigation. I forgot to mention that Barkskin is classified as active mitigation. But your new one, Iron Fur, is going to be 45 rage. It's a 1 second cooldown, so technically speaking, if you have the rage, you can spam this. And it increases your armor by 100% for 6 seconds. And it can overlap. What this means is if you use Iron Fur twice in a row, because you have 100 rage, you have 200% armor for 6 seconds, and then at the end of that first charge that you use, so like at the end of the 6 seconds, you then are down to the 100% armor for the extra 1 second that you had it up. Essentially, you can stack it as long as you have the rage. It does go as like a sort of rolling dot, I guess, is the best way to describe it. But it's very interesting. It's not something that we've seen in tanks before. They always have percentage reductions or dodge or this or that. This is just straight up you get armor. Ferocious Bite ability, so yeah, it's actually a cat ability. It does... Okay, I do have the feral affinity, so that's why that's there. So then you have Lacerate. It's going to do damage and a bleed, just like it does on live right now. It has a 2.79-second cooldown, so it's being reduced by haste. It stacks up to 3 times as normal, and that has a 25% chance to reduce the cooldown on Mangle. Then you have Frenzied Regeneration, which is like a bear's Death Strike, I guess. It costs 10 rage, it has 20-second recharge, it has 2 charges, and it heals you for 60% of all damage taken in the last 6 seconds. So, Death Strike. Lunar Beam is a talent. Mangle's still here. It's also being reduced by haste. It's going to be doing a bunch of damage, reduces the target's movement speed by 50%, and it deals an additional 20% damage against bleeding targets. More important thing is it generates 5 rage. Then you have Mark Reversal. This is the other part of your active mitigation for magic damage. 45 rage, just like Iron Fur, and it reduces your damage taken by magical sources for 30%. Pretty cut, standard, dry. It's a little boring, but again, you have an answer to physical damage, and you have an answer to magical damage. Any real tank that likes progressing, that's all you need. Whether it's fun or not, again, who knows? You still have access to Rebirth. It's castable in combat. It's your battle res as usual. You still have Maul, which is, I guess, a rage dump, except it's on the same cooldown reduction that the other Mangle and Lacerate's on, just does some damage. You have Mighty Bash as a talent, sorry. Let's see. Okay, so Guardian Druids get access to Moonfire. They took away their Fairy Fire, so you have a ranged ability. It's normal Moonfire, and it actually plays into a couple of talents that you'll see a little bit later. But yeah, they have access to it. Then you have Skull Bash, it's Steal Your Interrupt, and a Charge kind of mixed in together, 15-second cooldown. And then you still have access to Stampeding Roar. I believe that they took Stampeding Roar away from a lot of the Druid specs, though. So you might be one of the only people that have access to it. Let's see, where's Stampeding Roar? Okay. Baseline, it's on a 2-minute cooldown. So you have that there. Let me make sure I covered everything. And then you have Survival Instincts as your big shield wall. It's a 4-minute recharge. You get 2 stacks. And it's going to reduce all damage taken by 50% for 6 seconds. So that's your shield wall. And of course, as we all know, they're doing a tank pass currently and a healer pass. They're trying to reduce the strength of tank cooldowns and the strength of just healers' ability to keep them up without having to pay attention to them. They really want to emphasize more healer-tank interplay. So they're increasing the cooldowns on a lot of different things. And then you still have access to your teleport to Moonglade. You have Thrash still, which is interesting because of it. Instead of it applying its own bleed, it's going to apply a stack of Lacerate. So theoretically, you could do Lacerate, Thrash, Lacerate, and have all three stacks up pretty much immediately. Still have Travel Form, Passive Talent, Passive, Feline Swiftness. Okay, so it looks like, no, that's part of that talent. You have your Mastery there, and then Thick Hide is another passive. It just reduces all damage taken by 10%. So that's the standard baseline abilities that you have. If I could unlearn talents and make it easier, I definitely would, but unfortunately I can't do that with the new system that they have in place. So, as far as talents go, though, you have on the 15 tier, you have Brambles. It's basically Thorns, the old school Thorns. I mean, it reflects some damage, it does some damage. I guess it's good for like AoE tanking. It's not particularly interesting, in my opinion. And then you still have access to Pulverize. Instead of being at level 100, you have it at level 15 now. And it still does the same thing. It consumes 3 stacks of Lacerate and reduces damage taken by 15%. Pretty good, standard. And then Blood Frenzy. Lacerate also generates 2 rage each time it deals damage over time while at maximum stacks. So I guess if you apply this to a bunch of different targets, you're going to be generating a bunch of rage. So it has a defensive component. It's hard to argue against 15% damage taken, though. I mean, that's just too strong. It's against all damage, and it's very easy to keep up. So then you have Guttural Roars. Now this increases the radius of Stampeding Roar and Incapacitating Roar by 200% and reduces the cooldown of Stampeding Roar by 50%. Again, they've taken that away from a lot of the other Druid specs, so you are one of the few that have Stampeding Roar, and we all know Stampeding Roar is an amazing raid cooldown. So it's definitely going to be something that I think most people are going to be running with. But I mean, you still have access to Displacer Beast. The problem is it still puts you in cat form. You don't want to do that while tanking. Sure, if you just need to, bounce somewhere really quickly and it's a tank mechanic, I guess it would work there. But it puts you in cat form. It's not a lot of fun. Then you still have Wild Charge. Personally, as much as I love and appreciate the value of Charge, it's hard to take that over other selections, especially when you do have Skull Bash that technically is a charge as well. So then you have the 45 tier. This is where the Druid affinities come in. Now, instead of just getting baseline abilities for each Druid spec, or each form, I should say, they're working with an affinity type of system, where instead of having access to the form's baseline, if you choose, for example, Balance Affinity, you get the Moonkin form. It actually acts as a cooldown, interesting enough. Or at least it used to. Never mind. But this puts you in Moonkin form. And then you're able to pop out of it. You're going to have some Moonkin abilities. For example, you get 5 range on all your abilities, as well as Star Surge, Lunar Strike, Solar Wrath, Sunfire. So, just basic Moonkin. You also have a Feral Affinity, which gives you baseline 15% movement speed, as well as some Feral abilities. And then Resto, which gives you Ysera's Gift, heals you for 3% of your maximum health for 5 seconds. If you're full health, it heals someone else. Pretty standard. You do have Healing Touch. This gives you Rejuvenation, Regrowth, and Swift Mend. Now, for the purposes of the video, I mean, you're going to be by yourself. You're going to be doing Artifact, of course. Everything, all the talents that I take when I'm playing on the alpha, I'm taking with the intention of going through the Artifact quest. So it may not be what's actually useful for tanking. I'm assuming that's going to be the go-to for tanking. But I'm doing Artifact quest. I want to move fast. I'm taking Feral Affinity. Next here is some CC. You get Mighty Bash, still a stun, normal, Mass Entanglement, Typhoon, all that's the same. Then you have Soul of the Forest, which Mangle generates 5 more rage, deals 15% more damage. Incarnation, Guardian of Ursoc, it's Proved Bear form, reduces the cooldown on melee attacks, and Growl to 1.5, so it's the global cooldown. Also causes Mangle to hit up to 3 targets, and you can just pop in and out of it whenever. I took Galactic Guardian, mostly because I want to see how this plays out. Your damage has a 5% chance to trigger a Moonfire, and Moonfire also reduces the damage that enemies deal to you by 5%. So if you stack a bunch of bleeds on a bunch of people, and each of those bleed ticks have a 5% chance to trigger Moonfire, and then that'll reduce their damage 5%, you're basically, again, playing with a whole bunch of damage reduction on everything, constantly. You have Pulverize, you have potentially Survival Instincts, you have all these things working to basically reduce the damage that you're taking at all times. Then you have Earth Warden. Every 6 seconds you gain a charge of Earth Warden up to 3 charges. Earth Warden reduces the damage of the next auto attack you take by 30%. Specifically auto attack. You don't have to worry about abilities or random AoE taking those charges away from you. So it's pretty good for a hard hitting boss. Then you have Guardian of Elune. Ironfur and Mark of Ursoc now last an additional 2 seconds. So instead of the 6 seconds that each of these have, it would be 8 seconds. And Frenzied Regeneration also heals you for an additional 20%. Then you have Survival of the Fittest. It reduces the cooldowns of Barkskin and Survival Instincts by 50%. So, personally speaking, I feel like when you're playing this Druid, you're probably going to want to have a lot of damage reductions up constantly, just because you really are such a big meat shield. I feel like Survival of the Fittest is definitely going to be something that most people are going to be taking, but extending the Mark of Ursol and Ironfur, as well as increasing the heal, and even just getting that auto attack charge, it feels like maybe there's going to be situational times when you're going to want one or the other. For the purposes of the video though, I just want access to my cooldowns whenever. And then the last one you have is Rend and Tear. Lacerate also increases your damage dealt to the target and reduces your damage taken from the target by 2% per stack. Of course, you're going to be using Pulverize, or at least I will be using Pulverize, so it's going to be taking away that. But if you spread it to everything around you, again, 6% less damage from everything around you as well. Stacking with Galactic Guardian, everything's just doing reduced damage to you. It's crazy. I chose Lunar Beam. I'm very interested in testing this out. It's essentially like a form of Light's Hammer and Death and Decay. It only heals you, and it does damage to everything around you. It is on a 1.5 minute cooldown, but it's pretty nice. It summons a little moon there. You might be able to see it in the video later on. We're in the sewers right now. But it's going to be doing damage and healing you. So, interesting. And then you have Bristling Fur. 40-second cooldown. Bristles your fur, causing all damage against you to generate rage for 8 seconds. I mean, it's definitely a defensive. It's going to be giving you a lot more rage. I'm not sure what the rage it looks like on the alpha right now for the bear, because again, I have not played it yet. So I'm not sure if it's something that's going to be feeling rage starved unless you take that. But for the purpose of the video, again, just doing the artifact quest, I went for Lunar Beam. So that is the things that I chose. So, initial impression, a lot of damage reduction. Seems like a very stable, solid tank. I don't know if it'll be fun. You still have to stack the Lacerate. You still have to be spamming Mangle and Maul. And it's probably going to feel like you're always going to be capped at Rage. So I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it. But at the same time, just as a tank, thinking about Mythic, thinking about running dungeons and raids when you're undergeared, it's probably going to be really, really beneficial that you can just reduce so much of the damage. It feels very solid, like the Raiders tank. So we're going to go ahead and see how that plays out. But onto the artifact quest. You can see the new bear model there. It's really, really nice. So let's see. And Moonglade. So gotta teleport to Moonglade. Now again, as much as I love all the lore and the story of Warcraft, I'm very, very big into it. I will not be really reading out the quest text or reading it myself. I don't feel like that's really the purposes of what this video is. I'm trying to take a very just focused approach on everything that I'm going to be releasing as far as Legion goes, that have to do specifically with tanking. Let me go ahead and bind my travel form. There we go. Alright. There we go. That's what I was trying to do earlier. These trees, though. It's always amazing to see how far they've come when you see models like these trees, and then you see areas like Valsharar that have just radiate beauty.
Hey there. Bye-bye now.
Alright. So I've been pretty slow on releasing these videos. Again, I really want to try to aim to have constant updates on the tanks, especially the ones I'm very curious about. I will be streaming my leveling up process of my Vengeance Demon Hunter. I know that they've had a pretty massive rework, so I'm very excited to try it out, to level with it, and then kind of post an update on my thoughts on where Vengeance is now, if it's a lot better, where it's going. That's the tank spec that I'm currently very, very excited about. So I'm looking forward to learning more about how they're going to play and if they're going to be a viable tank. I mean, I play a monk currently. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the monk changes. I really, really want to latch on to Vengeance and have it be a thing that is enjoyable. But if it's not a good tank, again, I raid Mythics. I need something solid, something stable, something that's not going to make my team be in a negative position. So it's looking like maybe the Bear Druid might be that answer, which is not my ideal scenario. I've never personally. I like the idea of being a bear and the idea of being a druid. I just don't like the way that they play. It's just a sad fact.
We serve the land.
Of course, with the legendary system, if I'm on, let's say, warriors, which are actually surprisingly weak on the alpha right now, I've heard, I have to still do my protection warrior artifact quest. But if, for example, on my warrior I get all the legendary drops randomly for whatever godforsaken reason, I may be stuck playing a warrior for some time, which is not a fun scenario. But anyways, let's go ahead and get this done through a lot of RP. I very, very much enjoy this particular dreamway that we're going to be going through. I've seen a lot of the different artifact videos, so I kind of know what's going to be happening for the most part. But this dreamway is very interesting. It lets you get to all kinds of different places as a druid, which is really cool.
May Elune grant us strength.
I hope they changed this. I really don't want it. I would not like it if it just said Legion and it still had the Everbloom graphics. Okay, so they've made a lot of changes to this. Wow. Like I was saying, that massive change from the trees that you have in Moonglade to the way the Dreamway looks. It's amazing. All those little thorns everywhere. Cleanse the corruption. Alright, so let's kill this. Flying Lacerate, got a Mangle, Lacerate, Thrash for the last one. Just a Maul, Lacerate again, Mangle. Let's put in a Pulverize. Easy enough. I feel like I want to change the position of Pulverize, but I don't have a good spot for it.
I can't attack that.
Let's gather all of these up. Oh, and there's my moonfires going off. Oh, just a heal by accident. I will say it's a lot harder to play classes when you're used to having your add-ons and everything. So it's definitely going to be annoying for me. Just a huge fan of my add-ons, personally speaking. Of a lot of people are, of course, of their own. So the idea is to make sure that you're keeping Pulverize up at all times, just like live, and just, you know, doing your thing. Let's go Skull Bash this. Let's get an Iron Fur up. Lacerate. Angle this. Pulverize it. Lacerate. Thrash. Lacerate. Get my 3 stacks again. And murder it. To be fair, these quests are not exactly difficult. So it's not a really true understanding of how well it plays as far as the tank goes. For that, you definitely want to do some dungeons, but it gives you an idea at least. Alright, let's just pull the big guy. Let's charge it. Put a Moonfire it. Lacerate, Thrash, Lacerate, Pulverize, Mangle, Lacerate. Pulverize, Lacerate, Thrash, Lacerate. Burn them all. Let's throw an Iron Fur. And done. I absolutely love the Nightmare aesthetic. Just the purple veins and everything, it's amazing. Oh, looks like we pulled something here. Oh wow, that's creepy. And here we are. Soon as it wants to load itself up. Now, I actually did some of the raid testing on Ursoc, so I know that this story plays into what's going to be happening to him in the raid, which actually, to me, endears me to this artifact questline a little bit more, just because of the fact that you do go in search of his claws. That's your artifact weapon. That's what empowers you. The claws that he used during the War of the Ancients when he fell. So it's definitely really interesting.
Peace be with you. Good luck, friend. Go in peace.
Now, I've actually seen a couple people mention this, and I'm in total agreement. Why is his name Greathoof? He is not a Tauren, and he shouldn't be a Tauren. I mean, this is a Night Elven Druidic center, so it's not like he should be a Tauren, but it's a little ridiculous. Maybe Great Claw or whatever specialization of Druid he is.
May the stars guide you.
Unless he's a Stag Druid, specifically. He rolls around travel form all day. Oh, the RP, if it could only go quicker.
I can't attack that target. Ishnu Allah. Farewell.
Alright, so we are going for the Claws of Urzok, but just for just one moment. Appreciate the beauty of this life of a loon, because it's gorgeous.
I'm listening.
Actually interested to see
Denadris.
the Fangs of Ashamain. Yeah, it's an interesting dagger.
Greetings.
Alright, so Claws of Urzok.
I'm listening. Farewell. Denadris.
Alright, and for this I need to go to just to the north. Okay. Gotta go in here, talk to this person, and let's see what I have to do to gain the Claws of Urzok. Let's go into cat form. It's faster either way. It is interesting to note that I guess cat form hasn't received an updated graphic yet, which I mean is fine because the spec isn't enabled on the alpha yet. But I do hope that they have just an update to their baseline spec. Because I know that the artifact changes it, but your just standard bear form also changes as well. You can see right there, that's a troll version. This is my torrent version. Alright, we're going up. One thing to note is, even when you take the Feral Affinity, you don't have access to dash anymore. Which, I mean, again, with just the fact that you have to talent into Wild Charge, not having access to dash, it really, really is unfortunate. Movement is a big part of tanking. It just is. And as far as, I mean, they can say that some tanks are meant to move more than others, which, I mean, is fine. Poor Death Knights that have nothing now. And it even seems like they might be losing their standard taunt in the next build, but it's just movement is such an important part of tanking, and not having movement abilities, specifically talking about the Death Knight, is just, it's crippling. It's something that in my mind I think even if I love Death Knights and they're super powerful, I could be a liability to my raid not having movement. It's very unfortunate. And as a druid, I mean, you have your dash, but it puts you into cat form. So you don't, I mean, not dash. You have your well, let me figure out where I'm going before I lose track of my thoughts. All right, I gotta go in there. So you have Displacer Beast, which is blink, right? And it gives you movement speed as well. But you are going into cat form, so there's always the possibility to get instantly destroyed, and you lose all your rage. So that's not fun. You have Skull Bash, which is a charge, but I mean, it's also your interrupt, so you don't want to waste that. And talenting into Wild Charge just to have that there, it's a solution, but it's not. Oh wow, that map. It's not a particularly fun solution, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Now, I don't actually know which way is Grizzly Hills, and the map is not going to be of any help. So, let's see if I can figure this out. I mean, that looks like it would be Grizzly Hills. It's kind of like a pear mouth there, but I'm not entirely sure. There's no sign to help point the way. You know what? I'm just going to go for it. Should be able to go back. Alright, it looks like it's Grizzly Hills. I mean, there's Northrend, so that's helpful. If it wasn't for the sort of bear face that they have there, then I would have never guessed. Oh yeah, I could fly here. There you go. There we go. I'm just gonna swim through the air. No big deal. Don't mind me. Oh, and there's the music. The wonderful Grizzly Hills music that I'm sure every single person that will make a video is going to comment on. So why not me too? There we go.
I am listening. May the stars guide you.
Just rolling around. There's a big old bear. See, right now I wish I had Displacer Beast, now that I'm constantly mentioning it. Jeez. You know what? I kind of feel like I should just take it. Although it does make... I'm not going to be using Stampeding Roar that often. Put it here. So. get offerings off of the bodies. So I gotta go find some bodies. Oh, I thought they were using the new animations for some reason. Are there any bodies around? There we go. It's a little macabre. That's fine, I guess. Just gonna take things out of your bag, don't mind me. I didn't even kill you this time, so it's not even like it really belongs to me, but oh well. What do I care? I'm a flying bird. Cow. Bear person. There we go. Easy enough.
Hello. A shot fell out.
And there we have Ursol. I believe that's actually one of the skins that you can get from the bear artifacts. So you can look just like him. Big old glowing green bear. Purple eyes. Fantastic. Okay.
It's too far away.
Oh, this is a piss poor charge. And you're already dead. So already I'm starting to feel, I mean, some of it has to do with the fact that I don't have my add-ons to let me know when cooldowns are coming up, and it is something that is going to be affecting me, but already I'm being very annoyed by the way that the bear plays. I don't enjoy the multiple cooldowns on everything and nothing really to, not spam per se, but just the ability to have that there. You can't even spend your rage really effectively because your rage spender has a cooldown as well. Guess you could just stack a bunch of iron for it, but I mean, at some point you don't need more defensives, you need some offensive ability. Let's get a pulverize in there. Oh, take a lot of damage. Pop a bark skin. Does have to be said, I don't play a Guardian Druid on live. Forgive my terribleness. Let's get healed up. Okay. Because just popping me out of bear form would be too much work, right, Blizz? So, after playing it for just this tiny little bit, I'm already feeling like Pulverize is kind of annoying to keep up. It is nice though to have that damage reduction. I want my heals. I want my Resto Affinity. Just keep me healed up. I like Galactic Guardian. Survival of the fittest is still fine. Um, let's just see here. What can I change? I haven't used a lunar beam yet, which is a mistake. It does seem like there's two Ursals stacked on top of each other. I think I'll keep it like that. Pulverize just give you something else to use, so it's not terrible. And you're entangling roots, and apparently that means you can't do anything. Okay, you should have had another stack, but it's fine. Pulverize for you. For lunar beam. Pulverize for you. Yeah, the more I do it, the more I realize that Skull Bash is really not a substitute for charge. It just can't be a substitute. Oh, okay. Apparently Moonfire does a magic shit ton of damage. I guess I could just spam this all day and completely decimate everything. Wow. So note to self, spam Moonfire the entire time. There's 3 Ursouls now. Oh my god. I will just be a laser bear.
Be careful.
Strength this. And we're going to sleep. Good night. We're in the Emerald Dream now. Well, that's not good. Seems like everything's fine. I don't see the problem. Is that an entrance to a dungeon? What is that up there? Where does that go? I'm really curious to see where that takes me. But I don't want to mess up the video. That's unfortunate. She's gonna Moonfire. Oh, okay, so she's a bear druid. She's gonna be bearing it up with me. Jesus, Pulverize does damage. I don't know why I keep grabbing things. Okay, so even though it changes you into a cat, you still keep the actual speed increase, which is interesting. Pulverizing you, let's do a Mark of Ursol. Some magic damage reduction. Interrupt that. Pulverize for you. Let's kill this guy with Moonfire. And heal the damage back up. So there's Ursoc, his spirit being attacked. Even though he's dead, I mean, he should be able to come back.
I'm out of range.
That's what Goldrin and the other ancients did at Hyjal. It's definitely interesting. Rise is gonna murder him. Moonfire, Moonfire, let's get them rolling. Pulverize, Moonfire. Angle, Lacerate, Moonfire, dead. Easy. Seal that back up just for whatever reason. Okay. So we have to get them quickly before they all murder us. Got it. But you need a it's right there. He can't just grab, they're his claws. He can't just grab them? We're gonna have you channel the spell for forever? Oh wow, okay. Lunar Beam. Lacerate. Thrash. Lacerate. Pulverize. Pull this guy over here. Angle. Lacerate. Thrash. Lacerate. Pulverize. That's kind of the thing to do. Basically to have 3 stacks instantly. You lacerate, you thrash, you lacerate, you pulverize. Boom. Done. Which is actually really nice. And meanwhile, if whatever else you're tanking is going to be taking 3 stacks of lacerate, which is why those other talents that kind of give you, they give you benefits to having lacerate on a lot of things. It's really interesting. It's more damage reduction. It's funny though because pulverize doesn't actually count unless the last thing you casted to get the 3 stack is pulverize. I mean lacerate. So it's kind of annoying, but I think it's just kind of the way it is. Pulverize that. Let's put an Iron Fur up. I have way more rage. I think I might have accidentally wasted some there. Pulverize. Ah, that's right. It has to be the last thing. Pulverize. Get a Moonfire and a Moonfire. Pulverize that. Iron Fur. Moonfire. Dead. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Yeah, so if you do that when you're raiding, you're just gonna die, which is good to know. Alright, so I've actually let my loon take a lot of damage. That's not her, that's the little Dryad thing over here. Yeah, coming from a monk, not being able to just pick everything up instantly is kind of really annoying. I kind of hate it. Pulverize up. Got a heal and Iron Fur. Let's drag this over here. Lacerate, Thrash, Lacerate, Pulverize. There you go. And Moonfire because it's OP. I do enjoy just spamming Moonfire over and over. It's quite enjoyable. Yeah, so I feel like Wild Charge is gonna probably be the standard thing to take. Just makes sense. Rises up. Let's pull them both together. Drop a Lunar Beam. Apparently it's on cooldown. Totally knew that. Lacerate, so Pulverize. If it decides it wants to, let me do that. Let's get an Iron Fur, just to heal too. So yeah, I mean, sadly the playstyle isn't all that great. It's kind of what I expected, to be completely honest, but you get a couple new toys, and I'm sure with add-ons they'll probably get it to be a lot smoother. It's just, I don't know, the whole stacking and then using up the stack, and I don't know, it's just not as smooth or as enjoyable. So what's this? Shade of Xavius. Alright, so he takes Ursoc, which is unfortunate. And this guy takes my artifact. He gets a cool little bear effect. That's another one of the different artifact appearances you can take, but that is mine. So you will die. Thrash, lacerate, pulverize, bring him over here. Drop a lunar beam. Lacerate, pulverize, iron fur, thrash, lacerate, thrash, lacerate, pulverize, mangle, lacerate, thrash, lacerate, pulverize, mangle. This is boring. Oh god, I really want the Bear Druid to be fun. I want it to be something that I'm just like, this is amazing. I want to play this all the time, especially because they have the tools to deal with every situation. But it's just boring. I can't explain it any other way. It's just awful. Oh wait, nope, nope, nope. Gotta make it cool. Claws of Ursoc. Fist weapons. Your melee abilities cause blood claws, dealing 1,830 damage over 15 seconds. So it gives you a dot, and it reduces the damage dealt that they deal by 3% stacks to 5. So again, just reducing the damage everything does. Little bear claws. That's cool. Alright. I would be afraid of a Tauren punching me in the face with this. Let's see what the bear form looks like. Oh yes. You basically look like Ursoc. That is nice. Alright, so what now? Ready to leave? I am. But I kind of really want to check out that portal. I should just go. Let's not bug this out. Let's make this video nice and smooth. Alright, so let's turn this in. So Xavius took Ursoc. Ursoc. Ursol's the brother. So now I gotta go back to the Dream Grove. Is it called Dreamwalk? Yeah, Dreamwalk. So you get two. Well, that's cool. Now, this is a mount that I am kind of tired of trying to get, but I love it. I don't have the Raven Lord, I don't have this one, I don't have the purple one, the Void Talon. I will, at one point, get one of these mounts, just because they're so cool looking. But, I don't know when. And it's going to bother me until I get it.
I am honored. Peace be with you.
Seed of Ages. Let's go plant this, see what our artifact ability is, and that'll be that. Okay.
Ishnuala. Good luck.
So that's wait, okay. Let me see if I can fix that. That's a little crazy. Nope, we're just gonna go through the world. Okay, got it. So, Claws of Ursoc. It has a fire and a blood relic. Interesting. Interesting. And it's Rage of the Sleeper. 1.5 minute cooldown. Channels the Rage of Ursoc, reflecting 33% damage to opponents and increasing the rage gain and healing received by 33%. That sounds incredibly stupidly powerful. Maybe not the reflecting. I seriously don't think it'll work exactly because, I mean, that'd be a little crazy if you reflected a boss's full damage ability right back at him. Even if it murders you, that could be the difference between, hey, I'm gonna take this 1 billion damage spike. I'm gonna reflect it some towards it, but we have a battle res. B-res me after. It's fine. We need to push this. We need to do this. We need to do that. That just seems a little overpowered. Let's see what the end ones are. Heart of the Woods, not yet in. Oh, okay, so this one isn't even implemented. Then we have Embrace of the Nightmare. While Rage of the Sleeper is active, you are immune to crowd control. You deal 33% increased damage, generate 33% more rage, and leech 33% of damage dealt. So if you use Rage of the Sleeper, you're unstoppable. And you're reflecting damage, you're doing a bunch of damage. You are just a monster. Okay, Adaptive Fur. Elemental damage has a chance to trigger Adaptive Fur, reducing damage from that element by 20% for 15 seconds. Standard, basic, just protects you, I guess, which is pretty interesting. I really want to take a look at these different forms. You have, okay, kind of a surfer dude bear, which is, I don't know why that's what comes to mind, but oh, I like that one. That one's fun as well, but I think personally I like that one best. Then you have the stone bear. It's really cool, but I think that one's my favorite. Avatar of Ursul. So this is the one that makes you look just like his brother, Ursul. Ooh, red bear, purple bear, blue bear. And then fall into the nightmare. And they've shown that there is a 6th appearance, it looks like, for much of these artifacts. And you can see here that there's only 4 available. So definitely a lot of really cool bear forms that are out here. So we got that. And then we turn this in. And then we basically choose where we're going to go level. So, what do I think about the Guardian Druid? Let me make sure I get this ability. Where is it? Rage of the Sleeper. I'm sure it's right in front of my face and I just don't see it. It's pretty annoying. Wow, okay, so, no, really, where is it? Well, first let me go ahead and change this out because I think that this is definitely the go-to. You want to put that there, Wild Charge. Is it just on my bars? Do I not see it? Okay, well, it's there, so Rage of the Sleeper. Let's put that right there on number 4. And let's see if there's a cool animation to it. Nope, just makes you big. Okay. But it's reflecting 33% damage, increasing rage, and healing. You big old bear. I do love this bear model. It looks incredibly vicious. Look at those claws. Those claws that bit into Leonardo DiCaprio. Alright, so there you go. I mean, that's the Guardian Bear artifact. It's pretty cool. A lot of lore. I love it. As far as the Bear Druid itself, so I think that they're going to be incredibly powerful tanks. I think they're going to be solid tanks, the kind of tank that is able to do damage, is able to stay alive, can heal themselves, can reduce damage. It's going to be able to tank while being under geared, which is basically the way that it works in Mythics. You gear up your DPS, then you gear up your tanks, then you gear up your healers. If your tanks are getting one shot, they're either doing something wrong or you need to give them just the most minuscule amount of gear possible to keep them alive, and then you just pour it on into the DPS. So you don't want a tank that, for example, going into Hellfire Citadel, monks were really good after they got Foresight. Paladins are decent and can do monstrous damage when they have a bunch of gear. You're progressing. You can't afford to give them all that gear. You're not going to be getting the gear from the later bosses. So that's a liability. That's why a lot of the people went Warrior, Druid, and DK. DK and Druid specifically because Warrior lags behind a little bit. DK had a little bit of trouble on Tyrant, but it's just at that point it's mechanics. So I think that Guardian Druids are going to be reliable, strong, and just a steady rock and foundation as far as a tank. And that sucks because the way that they play is just not my favorite. I don't like stacking lacerate. I don't like having my rage dump have a cooldown so I can't actually dump it as much as I like and it gets full and then I'm just kind of like, okay, I'll throw some more iron furs. Which I mean isn't isn't terrible because Iron Fur is just it gives you more armor, which is fine. If it works like bonus armor does, which I don't even think bonus armor is on gear anymore, but if it works like armor and it gives you attack bonus as well, that's it's actually pretty okay. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I like that they got Moonfire and got little Moonfires going off all the time, but I'm not a fan of what is essentially a three button rotation with another one if you throw it in there. Everything you do feels like it reduces the damage that you take, which is fine. It's going to make you an incredible tank, but it's going to be fun. I don't know. I really don't know. I definitely this is something I'm going to have to keep my eye on. Maybe do some updates to once we get a couple more builds that flesh it out a little bit more. But this, in my opinion, feels like it's going to be the strong. It's the strongest tank currently, for sure. I don't feel like the rage gen is too low. I mean, even when you don't have a lot of rage coming in, this is going to be resetting Mangle like crazy. You can take talents to increase the rage that you're getting. And I mean, Frenzied Region, which is a heal, it doesn't take that much range. Getting the 45 rage every single time for Iron Fur might be a little bit annoying, but I honestly don't feel after this initial run that rage is much of an issue. So, I mean, maybe with a little more practice. I mean, I definitely feel like I need to level this up some. I will be doing a leveling stream for my Vengeance Demon Hunter. I might do one for the bear as well because it's something I need to keep my eye on. As a person that's very serious about tanking, I have to go with the best choice. And bears right now are looking really really good. So again, that's my first initial impression of the Guardian Druid, the artifact. I'll be doing some leveling as well. I don't know if I'll be uploading a video of my leveling because it would probably be straight from Twitch, and I don't know if I really want to update like that. If you like this video, please drop a like, share it with friends, subscribe, all that jazz. My channel is very, very small so far. I'm going to be making a lot of videos on Legion. I will be streaming raids once the game actually comes out. I will be doing videos on Heroes of the Storm. I'm a big Blizzard fanboy. A lot of different games I want to go ahead and try out. I'm going to be making. This is kind of like my first attempt at making YouTube videos. It's something I've always wanted to do. I finally have the opportunity to do that. And if this isn't even a small way, shape, or form an enjoyable thing for you to watch, if you think that I'm doing something worthwhile, then I'd appreciate a like, a comment even. I'll read all the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know how I can improve this. But I really appreciate anyone that took the time to see this. So with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.